Earlier in today's show, we reviewed the estimation process for replacement windows, and we visited the SeasonGuard window factory to see how windows are manufactured. Now let's once again meet up with Andy Lindus from Lindus Construction to learn how vinyl windows are professionally installed. Well, Andy, that was an awesome tour of the SeasonGuard window factory. It was really nice learning what a quality window is comprised of. But as we mentioned in past shows, you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't install it properly, you're not going to get your best value.
Yeah, you said it there. This is where Lindus Construction really shines. This is where we're at our best, is installing those awesome products. A lot goes into it, and not everybody does it the same. And you've seen how we do things. There's a bunch of little things that go into air management and water management on the installation of a window.
And as we mentioned earlier in the show, the homeowner, their decisions come into play when they're going through the different options, interior options, exterior options, and going through the bids and making sure they select a quality professional window contractor. But then they step back and it's really up to the contractor to install it properly. And let's kind of walk through how this new window was installed.
They actually went with the factory-made brick mold option, which is what a lot of people are leaning towards. You get the look of a brick mold window, but you don't have to remove all that siding.
And by brick mold, you're talking about this area right here. It makes it a little wider, gives it a little more architectural look to it.
Yeah, this is a factory installed brick mold and actually makes the window sit back a little bit so you don't have to worry about those big water streaks coming down from the rain, and gives it that nice look. Again, we want the look of a wood window without the maintenance. Most good contractors will show you step one to step done, is what I always like to say. This is what happens. This is the first thing we're going to do in the room. This is the second thing that we're going to do. Third, fourth, fifth, and when it's done, this is what it should look like. So they know that we're going to remove the existing window. By the way, did you see how these old windows came out?
Yeah, I was shaking my head. That was horrible, as I recall. It was held in place just by nailing around the nail fin.
Yeah, and that's not how a window is supposed to be fastened. That's not what's supposed to hold it in there. The nail fin is for water and air infiltration management. There's no wonder why those windows rotted out in 10 years.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the one we were looking at there. All around here, all those windows, due to probably poor construction initially and then poor installation, led to their demise.
Yeah, and this is why we're able to put a lifetime warranty on all aspects of the window. When we remove it, we expect that rough opening and make sure that it's good to go. Once we know that that's good to go, we put our seal tape in. Then we install the actual window with a sealant behind the brick mold. And once all that's installed, we put a foam around the edge, not only for air infiltration, but for water management as well, to make sure no water ever gets back to bare wood on all types of these windows. There's always a drainage plan, somewhere for the water to get out, a drip cap along the top edge to make sure water's not getting back to wood, because when that happens, rot happens, and they don't want to ever see that again.
One thing I noticed when they were pulling it off, they actually had to cut some of the siding away and just adjust it accordingly.
This is a little bit wider with the brick mold, so we had to trim a little bit of the siding, put a new J-channel in. Once that was all said and done, the window was set into place. You go back into the inside, we use that 1-to-1 expansion foam to fill up that gap on the inside before the trim goes on. Again, not only for energy efficiency, but for water management as well.
Well, obviously, you take a step back, you look at this, it looks beautiful from the outside. What about on the inside as far as finishing it off? What did Jim and Jake do in there?
Well, we gave the homeowner all his different options, and they chose to have us put our finished trim on, matched to our type of wood grain, so it has 3 coats of our poly on it, goes through our finish process, and it matches perfectly. I always challenge people when they want to see the difference between a wood and a vinyl window. They come over to my house, stand at my kitchen table, and about 20 feet away, there's a wood window and a vinyl window in 2 different rooms. And I always say, which one is the vinyl window? And they can't pick it. When they finish off a window, as well as Jim and Jake did here, not only just putting on that beautiful trim that was finished by us, covering each nail hole with putty, covering every seam with putty, and then polishing it and cleaning it afterwards, so it looks like this window is as good as it gets. There's no dirt, no grime. I mean, you can't tell this is vinyl from the inside.
No, I was really impressed with the attention to detail and not leaving anything to the homeowner. They want it to be that first impression when the homeowner comes in. They want that wow factor. Wow. You know, look at how beautiful that looks, and I can honestly say you're hard-pressed with this finish, this wood grain, and the custom trim around it to know that it's not a wood window.
Exactly, and this is what we always like people to choose, because there's nothing that has to be done to it. They know it's finished. This is the finished product for the next 30, 40 years. This is what this window is going to look like, and it's going to look this good from now till then.
I just can't imagine how happy the homeowners are going to be when the entire house is completed. I really appreciate you coming on today's show and taking us through the professional window replacement process.
As always, my pleasure, Stu.
Now here are some key points to help summarize today's show. If you're replacing the windows in your home, start by meeting with at least 3 local contractors and be sure to attend the estimation process with each of them. Review each window you're having replaced and discuss all the options that you might consider. Next, when comparing bids, make sure each window that's being replaced is broken out in the estimate. Know exactly how it's being installed and what's included for options so you can compare apples to apples. And finally, select a contractor and a window that stands behind their work. Windows should never rot out in 15 years when they're installed correctly, and a strong warranty covering all aspects should be considered when making your final decision. Well, we're all out of time for this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you again next time on Today's Home Remodeler.
For more information about today's topic and upcoming episodes of Today's Home Remodeler, please visit these websites. The preceding program was sponsored by the Today's Home Remodeler television network.